Hello, welcome back to RetroBreak. About a year ago I did a video called 5 Great Game Boy Homebrew Games. Well, since then I've played literally hundreds more and I've found some really amazing games, as well as being in touch with a few developers to give you guys a sneak peek as to what's to come in the future with some of these upcoming releases. So I'm really excited to be able to show you guys a first look at a game that's upcoming for the Game Boy called Coria and the Sunken City. It's a really good one, so enjoy this preview. So, Coria is a 2D action platformer with some light adventure touches. According to the developers, the final game will have the whole world interconnected, similar to games like Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap, which is a fantastic thing in my opinion because that's one of my favourite games of all time. In this demo I was given to play for the video, the game was broken up into 3 different sections. There was a bridge section to the left, there was a forest to the right, and if you climbed up the ladder at the start it would take you to a big tower as well. Each of the 3 areas was very unique with completely different graphics and music. At the moment the tower doesn't have any background music, but I know they are working on it, and they also told me that in the final game everything will be one big interconnected map, which sounds fantastic. As you can see here, the graphics look really nice, the controls were great and responsive, and I've also been told that in the final game there will be different attack types as well. In this demo the only attack there was to stand still and slash straight forward, but in the final game there'll also be an aerial attack. Something else that was missing from this demo but will be included in the final game is a variety of power-ups, and these will actually carry over into the different areas and I presume let you explore more different areas as well. I did find a few places in this demo where I got a little bit stuck and couldn't progress, so I'm really looking forward to exploring everything in the final game. The developers also very kindly sent me over some concept art and some development notes, which I just thought were absolutely fascinating, so I hope you enjoy having a look at these. Another thing that I really enjoyed about the demo was the music. I think the music in the game really fits the tone very well, and I did also try this. The game is compatible on both the Game Boy Color and on the original Game Boy. As you can see here, the game looks just as good in black and white as well. The game looks to be shaping up to be one of the best platformers on the system. They haven't actually specified yet when the game will be released, but rest assured I will do a full review of it whenever it gets released in the future. I'm loving what I've seen so far, and if you want to check out some more about the game, I'll put links in the description so you can go and check out their Facebook and their Twitter pages as well. So the next game here is one that I was aware of last year and I actually bought it on itch.io. This game is called Escape 2042 and it's a really cool game. So this is Escape 2042. In this game you play as a computer engineer and a member of a group called the Truth Defenders. You've been captured by the government and locked up inside a secret facility. You have to navigate the rooms and deactivate traps while avoiding the guards and security cameras. It's a great game that plays really well on the system, it has a lot of unique areas to try and get through, and a really interesting playstyle. This one I found on itch.io last year while I was looking for more Game Boy Homebrew games, but what amazed me most about this game was the fact that the developers have actually ported this to many other retro consoles and computers as well, including the Atari ST, the Sega Mega Drive, the Sega Dreamcast, and even the Atari Jaguar. And amazingly, this Game Boy version looks to have kept all of the gameplay and puzzles intact, and it is a great game, I definitely recommend it. I haven't actually got that far into it yet though, it's very challenging, but apparently later on there's a few different environments and there's even a separate shoot 'em up section, so I'll definitely try and play some more of it in the future. Highly recommend this one, and just like all the other games that I'll be showing in this video, I'll put a link in the description so you can go and check it out for yourself. This one isn't free, I think you have to pay a fee to get all of the different versions of the game, but it's definitely worth it, so I would highly recommend going and checking it out. So yeah, the developer is just a little bit mad releasing it on all those systems, but I'm sure you'll agree the game looks absolutely fantastic, and I really did enjoy playing this one. Now for a bit of a change of pace and a much simpler game, this one is a very basic arcade game called Bubblemania. Enjoy! So while the last 2 games that I showed were quite ambitious in scope, this one really scales things back to the most basic elements. As you can see here, all you need to do is press the A button to move the bubble up and down, and press the B button to shoot the enemies that come up to you. It's a fantastically simple game and I actually had a lot of fun playing this. There really isn't much more to say about it though, so I'm just going to show you a little bit of gameplay. It's completely free and it's actually playable online as well as the Game Boy ROM, so no reason not to play this one, just to have a bit of fun for a few minutes. And if you do decide to try this game out, let me know in the comments what your high score was. The best score I managed to get was 6,200. Now for another exclusive look at an upcoming Game Boy game. This one is called POWA. There is a demo that's available out there online, but the developers were really kind and actually sent me the full version of the game to play. There are some slight changes between this version that I'm playing now and the version that will be released, so bear that in mind while you're watching this. And if you want to pre-order a copy of the game, you can go to their website. I'll put a link in the description so you can go and check it out. So of course I've actually ordered the special edition and I can't wait to do a video review when that comes out at some point next year, just like I did with POWA DX, which came out earlier this year by the same publisher. If you haven't seen my review of this amazing Game Boy Homebrew game, I will put a link in the description so you can go and check it out. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to playing the final version of POWA, but until then, enjoy this preview. So the developer was very kind and actually sent me a beta of the full version of the game to show in this video. The game is still in development though, so there might be some slight changes between what you're seeing here and what's going to appear in the final game when it gets released later this year. The game itself is a fantastic mix of classic Game Boy games like Trip World and Kirby's Dream Land. Two of my favourite games on the system, so when I first saw this game I just knew that I had to play it. This game though is a lot harder than both of them. It will take a lot of memorisation to get through all these levels. It took me several hours to beat it on my first try, and that was on easy mode. In this version of the game that I'm playing, there was two different difficulties. There was easy and normal. The difference being with easy that there's unlimited restarts, and on normal you actually have a lives counter, and when your lives run out you return to the beginning of the stage. The game is incredibly simple, with only a jump and an attack. Each of the stages is separated out into different sections. Each of the worlds also ends with a really unique boss fight. I definitely needed those unlimited lives, especially on some of the boss fights. Apparently, before the final version of the game is released, some of the boss fights are going to have altered patterns, which is good because I really struggled on getting past this bird one. As well as the graphics, which you can already see look absolutely stunning, the music as well is also really good in this game, and I love that each of the different environments so far has a very unique feel to it. My favourite thing about this game though is the fact that you really have to memorise the levels. It's a really great throwback to classic games that were a lot more difficult than what we're used to today. I really enjoyed my time with this, and like I said, I'm definitely planning on doing a full review and an unboxing when I get the physical version. I also decided to try this one on the SNES using the Super Game Boy, and I was very pleased to see that it's actually got a custom border and a custom colour palette as well. I think it looks really nice, and I'm very glad that the developers decided to put in the extra effort to support the Super Game Boy. I really love it when games do that. And the final game I'm showing here is one called Wishing Sarah, and this one was actually made with a brand new program called Game Boy Studio, and this basically is kind of like RPG Maker but for the Game Boy. It lets you create your own RPG games, and they've actually just released a beta of version 2, which also allows you to make platformers and shooting games. So I'm actually really tempted to give this a go myself. But the best game that I've found made with it so far is Wishing Sarah, so have a look at this. So like I said, this game was made in the fantastic Game Boy Studio, which is kind of like RPG Maker but for the Game Boy. And much like RPG Maker, which came before it, there's definitely been a flood of average games made for it. I had a look on itch.io, and at the minute there's about 90 different games just under that Game Boy Studio tag. There's definitely a few standout titles though, and this one is one of the best that I've found so far. It's an atmospheric adventure game where you explore a dreamlike world and meet some really weird and wonderful characters and solve some pretty unique puzzles along the way. I was captivated the entire way through this game. It has a really unique atmosphere and such a strange set of characters and locations. I just felt compelled to keep playing and see what came up next. It reminds me of playing some of the best RPG Maker games from back in the day. Even though the game is pretty short and it only took me about 40 minutes to play all the way through, there were some really shocking moments and one of them almost brought me to tears. I won't spoil it, but I can definitely say this is one of the best homebrew games that I've ever played. The game is actually a sequel to another game called Dreaming Sarah, which is out now on Steam. I haven't played that one yet, but if it's anything like this, then I'm definitely going to give it a go soon. And like with the other games, I will put a link in the description if you want to go and check this out for yourself. It's free to play on their website, and it's also free to download the ROM as well. So that's it for the 5 games that I'm going to show you in this episode, but I do have a few honourable mentions before we finish. So one that I want to make a shout out, even though I'm going to do a full video review about this game in the near future, is a game called Quest Arrest, made by my friend John Rue, who you might have seen on the channel before. I'm really looking forward to getting the physical version. I did actually play this game all the way through on the plane on the way back from Japan, and I absolutely loved it, so I can't wait to share that with you guys. Another honourable mention is a game called JetPak DX, which is also being made by a friend of mine called Kwang from Asobi Tech, and I think he's also looking to do a physical release in the near future as well. And if you want to see him actually working on this game, he streams on Twitch every Tuesday or Thursday, I think. I'll make sure I've got that right and put it in the description so you can go and follow him over there. So I was just editing the video now, and I just happened to look on Twitter and found out that Kwang has actually just posted that you can go and pre-order a physical version of JetPak DX right now on his website. So I'll put a link in the description so you can go and order yourselves a copy. Definitely go and show him support because he's a great guy and it does play really well. I actually managed to play the original version that he made way back in the 90s, and he's improved it so much since then, so I'm really looking forward to getting the physical version of this updated version of JetPak DX, and I will definitely do a video about it when it turns up later this year. And there's one more GB Studio game that I'm keeping an eye on, and that is called Dragonborne. It's another game that I've ordered the physical version of, so I'll be sure to do a review of that one. So there's loads for you guys to look forward to, so please subscribe so you manage to see all these reviews. That's it for this episode. Let me know what you thought about these games. Let me know in the comments if there's any Game Boy Homebrew games that you think I've missed out on so far, and maybe I'll do a part 3 in the future. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next week for the next one. Goodbye!